Hello, everyone. I'm Wendy Myers at MyersDetox.com, and this is another video from our Liver Rehab Cleanse program, how to do coffee enemas. I know this is everything you never wanted to know about coffee enemas. And I'm here with Eileen Durfee. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, well, thanks for having me. It's a great subject.
Yes, it's so important. I love coffee enemas. I could not live without them. I should be wearing like a little sachet, like coffee enema queen, because I love spreading the word about coffee enemas because you just feel like $1,000,000 after you do a coffee enema. And I know people are kind of squeamish at first and are like, oh God, I don't want to do that. And it's gross. And yeah, it's kind of gross, but you get the hang of it. It takes you a minute or two or three tries, but we're going to walk through how to do them to simplify this whole process and answer as many questions of yours as you have. And so let's start off, Eileen, just what are some of the benefits of the coffee enemas?
It causes the bile ducts of the liver to expand, and bile production increases dramatically. The body produces 600% more glutathione. It fills your bloodstream with free radical scavengers and turns on enzyme systems just from a coffee enema.
Yes. Yeah. And people get like relief of all kinds of symptoms. I mean, you have reduction in pain, you have better mental clarity. Like sometimes I'll do one before I do a podcast because I'm just very, very clear. And people also have certain benefits, like for instance, they'll just kind of feel less toxic after doing one. People enjoy increased energy production as a result of doing coffee enemas. They clean out and heal the colon. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but my clients are doing coffee enemas that when they go do an endoscopy, their doctor says that their colons are clean as a whistle. They're cleaning that out. They also have better gut flora. They have better immunity as a result of it because your immune system is in your colon and in your intestines. So you're just cleaning that out constantly. It doesn't dilute probiotics. That coffee is only going up about 1/3 of your large intestine or your colon. So you're not washing out all your good, healthy bacteria. You help to detoxify the liver, help it to release its toxic contents. You help it to better work on detoxing your body additionally. And you just get rid of a lot of the symptoms of general toxicity and all those symptoms associated with that. You can get less acid reflux, improved digestion, migraine headaches can disappear. You're in a better mood, better mental clarity. It can help to relieve depression, anger, and anxiety, which is a great side effect. You can relieve nausea. I used to have nausea pretty frequently. I almost never have that anymore. So when your liver is backed up, you can get nausea from that. It also helps to clear acne and skin congestion. Like my skin became so clear, free of blackheads and everything when I started doing them. And it wasn't anything I had changed doing to my skin. It was just less toxins were having to come out through my skin because my liver was actually able to process toxins. And also better sleep is a good side effect also. Any thoughts that you have, Eileen, on why you like doing coffee enemas?
Well, I like doing coffee enemas because I'm constantly doing a detox program. And anybody who's familiar with detox, usually, they talk about having all these healing reactions and retracing. So my favorite thing about a coffee enema is I can do just about anything and turn into Superwoman and not feel cruddy like all the other people that are going through these detox programs.
Yeah, that's a very good point because when you are taking detox supplements, doing infrared sauna, whatever it is that you're doing, you have to help the liver excrete these toxins. And, when you do a coffee enema, you almost are like wringing out the liver like a sponge so it can get rid of those toxins and get on to the next batch. Wring it out, get on to the next batch. And in doing so, you really help to relieve detox symptoms so that you can just, like you said, get on with your detox, get on with it.
Well, detox causes the toxins that are in our cells and organs and tissues to mobilize. They get on the move. And what does our blood do? It circulates through the liver like, how many times every so many minutes. It's like a fuel filter in your car. You're not going to drive very far if your fuel filter's clogged. So when you're doing all this work to do the detox, it's just 101. It's just the basics of adding the coffee enema to your program. It's just going to make the results of everything else that you're doing, probably sixfold better, and you're going to feel better doing it.
Yes, I can't express the praise of coffee enemas enough. I could not live without them. But so let's get people excited about them. Like, let's tell people how to do them. You can do this super, super quickly. It doesn't have to take a lot of time and energy, and you can be doing other stuff. I'm checking social media and checking emails and stuff while I'm doing my enema. So you can be productive during this time. It's not wasted time. I love talking to you because you've really taken detox to the next level. You're an inventor, and you've created all these different detox tools and really improved them and tweaked them. So you've got 3 different types of coffee enema equipment. So let's go over those.
Well, here's the coffee enema bucket. It's stainless steel, FDA approved. That's most convenient for home. It comes with all the tubing with the shut-off valve and the different tips. So that's like super easy to clean. You can stick it on your shelf. Then I've got coffee enema bag, but this bag actually turns inside out so you could clean it. And so this is convenient, for travel. And it comes with, your tubing, your shut-off valve, your tips and everything like that. And then a personal favorite for travel, it's a little smaller, but I have so many people that won't lay down to take a coffee enema. So stand up in your shower now, folks. You can actually, it just, comes, you just undo it like a shampoo bottle. It pumps up. You hold on to it. You pump the air out of it till you get the liquid. And then you can stand, insert the fluid, and then, just enjoy your shower and then jump out and sit on the toilet when you need to, refill, and do it again. And so some people actually use that at home and love it. But it's great for travel. Instead of missing out on your coffee enema, you can use the pump bottle.
Yeah, and you invented this. You're the only one I know that has this pump bottle, which is great because I know some people, they want to do something really, really quickly. They don't maybe have an area to lay down in their bathroom or what have you, because I lay down in my bathroom, but some people live in really tiny apartments, or they can't lay down to get back up. They have back problems, or they're really overweight or something. And so you can just do a coffee enema on the toilet. Also, you can stand and do it and then sit down. So it just makes a coffee enema more accessible to more people. I think it's just really convenient too. So let's talk about coffee enema coffee. So what kind of coffee enema coffee do you recommend and use?
Well, I've used the Dr. Wilson's, that's the light roast. And literally with daily coffee enemas, my skin turned green with the light roast. And not as much would come out. And so then I went to the dark or the medium roast organic coffee. And, coffee's on every corner. I mean, in your town, you probably have somebody who gets the beans and actually literally roasts them fresh there. And so that's what I do is I get locally roasted, organic, dark roast coffee. However, you can use any coffee and still get benefits. So if you don't want to go out and find even organic coffee, you can start baby steps. But the easiest way is to just get some medium to dark roast organic coffee. And, you could go to the store and get it. You don't have to go to some roaster It's just after you get into this, you're probably going to become a connoisseur of your enema coffee, just like people, who drink coffee.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I do is I used to buy like a special coffee, enema coffee, and it was like $20 a pound. For me, I make sure that it's not ground. You want to make sure it's whole bean, because you want to retain all those phytonutrients and precious oils in the coffee bean. If the coffee enema coffee is ground and it's just been sitting there for a while, it's going to oxidize. It's not going to be as nutritious or effective. So you want to make sure it's fresh. Get a little coffee grinder at home and grind it up before you do the enema. But what I do also to save money and just out of convenience is that I have my coffee in the morning. I still have those grinds left over, and then I'll just take those and put those with some filtered water on the stove and boil it, get everything out of it, and then use that recycled or used coffee for my coffee enema as well. So that's another idea. And I drink Purity coffee because it's organic and mold free. So I think that's important for some people that are really, really picky, but definitely not necessary. Any organic coffee is fine.
What I use is a percolator. That's my favorite way, because I got tired of having to strain out those grinds from the water of throwing them on the stove in a pan and boiling it. But yet it boils and it percolates, and it really gets a lot of the healthy, palmitic acid and caffeine and the things out of the grinds. So that's another way. But by all means, any coffee, just getting to do it is the first step.
Yes, exactly. And that's a good thing you mentioned that you need caffeine. That's the whole point of doing a coffee enema for the most part, is the caffeine. That's what's irritating your liver and causing kind of like this stress effect that's causing it to purge the toxin. So do not use decaf. That's not going to work. And if you're caffeine sensitive, just use a tiny little bit. You can maybe just use a quarter teaspoon even, where I can put 2 heaping teaspoons or tablespoons actually of coffee and do a coffee enema. I'm not sensitive to caffeine. Another person who knows when they drink it, it just makes them jittery. You can still do coffee enemas, just use a tiny, tiny little amount. You only need the amount that's going to elicit a response in your body and nothing more. So there's no kind of wrong way to do this. Okay, so let's talk about step 1. What's the first step in doing a coffee enema? So it's making the coffee, obviously. I think we actually already talked about that. But do you have any tips or tricks about making the coffee or how much to use?
Well, to start with, if like my husband, drinks coffee, and so we just had a regular coffee maker, and it's just like, as busy as I was, that was the only way I was going to do my coffee enemas, if I just used some of his coffee. So don't make it complicated. But as time went on, I tried the boil method and straining out the grinds, and that was frustrating. And then the French press, I don't think gets enough of the nutrients out of the coffee grinds for the enema to be as effective, but yet it still has some and it will work. So that's when I came across the percolator. Oh my gosh, I love the percolator. It takes 20 minutes, so you can, so it's like my routine is get my ozonated water going so I could be drinking that, get my coffee on percolating, which takes 20 minutes. And for me, I'm a multitasker. Wendy's saying, yeah, you can check your email, you can do all these other things, but I have a Klima board. So I flip the toilet up, lay this board down that has a hole and a splash guard with the stool. And then I put a bidet sprayer on my toilet hook with an ozonated water. So, I'm getting all that ready, and then my coffee's there. And then that's when you pick your dilution. You fill up. I use purified water. I actually have a Berkey that I just put water in. So I have filtered water for my coffee enema. I wouldn't recommend chlorinated, fluoridated tap water, for your enema. I mean, you could use distilled water, spring water, but some good kind of water. And then you start out with brewed coffee. It's like after the grounds and you've made this coffee, it's almost like having a little espresso shot.
And it's hot too. You've got to dilute it.
Oh, yeah.
Dilute it and cool it down.
Then it makes this tepid the perfect temperature. So you're not putting up hot water or freezing water. So it's actually comfortable, so adding in that brewed coffee into your bucket and, then it's, figuring out where you're going to do the coffee enema. Are you going to lay down? You're going to stand up, some people lay down in their tub.
Yes. Yeah. I do about 2 cups roughly. This doesn't have to be exact, but just to give you an idea, you'll get the hang of it once you start doing them. But I do about 2 cups of coffee, boiled coffee, put that in my coffee enema bucket, and it's boiling hot. And then I put my filtered water in there, fill the bucket up, or to the point where it's kind of like lukewarm, a little bit warmer than body temperature. If it's too hot, it's going to burn you. If it's too cold, it doesn't feel as good, and it feels kind of creepy. And then also, I feel like the warm water kind of loosens the stool up a little bit, loosens the fecal matter for exit. So you'll get the hang of that once you do a few coffee enemas.
Right. And, I would always give people the 2-week challenge. And then I told them I'd never ask them again to do a coffee enema. And then I'd tell them all the problems that are going to happen. You're not going to be able to hold it 12 minutes.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to put it all in. And, so I just say practice makes perfect. And that's why it takes 2 weeks, because then you're going to develop those muscles and you're going to be cleansing the colon enough, because the reason why coffee enema works is your intestine there, your lower intestine, up the rectum, is a membrane. So through that membrane, you have the portal vein, which looks like a plant root or a tree root that hooks all along the intestinal tract to take nutrients to the liver. So all that palmitic acid and caffeine is going to exit your colon and go up to the liver. And so 12 minutes is the magic time. So maybe you can only hold it a minute the first time. Don't worry. Just, that's why I like the bucket, is because, you're going to put some of it in, not all of it. Then you're going to be holding it. Then you're going to have to eliminate. Then you have more in there. Then you can put more in there. And that way you can get longer hold times, because it's accumulated hold time, not just one shot. That's it. And so, maybe the first time you do a coffee enema, you're going to be able to only hold it 2 minutes. But see, the next day when you try it again, it'll go easier. Oh, and then have a little catch bucket or a bowl, because like if you're laying down and you have to get up, it's going to go everywhere. You're going to have a mess. So, when you're starting to get up, put that underneath there so you can kind of hobble over and get to the toilet and catch most of the mess. But the good news is you're going to develop muscle control. And by the end of 2 weeks, I had one guy that was standing up, and he would get the coffee in a solution in him by rolling up the bag. He stood up and he says, man, I can just walk around. I can do other stuff. Then it was time to eliminate. I can go sit on the toilet and eliminate. So again, practice makes perfect. You are going to develop your own unique little way of doing things.
I think a lot of people get hung up or don't do coffee enemas because they feel like they can't do them right. If they can't hold it for like that 15 minutes, I can't hold it for 15 minutes. And I've been doing them for a long time. I mean, sometimes I'll have a golden moment where I, am able to do that. But usually the first time you take in some coffee and are holding it, you have fecal matter inside you. So your body's going to have this urge to evacuate and expel it. So listen to that. Don't ignore it. Expel it. Take in more coffee. Hold that as long as you can. If you have the urge to expel, go do it. You probably have more fecal matter in there. You usually release about a couple days worth of fecal matter when you're doing a coffee enema. So you're probably not going to go to the bathroom for a couple of days. And I usually take coffee in and evacuate about 5 times. And I just take my time. I do it right. And I feel like I need to do that to where I feel satisfied and I've completed my coffee enema. Other people are wham bam. They want to get in and out in 20 minutes. Everyone is different. You'll develop your different style. There isn't any wrong or exact right way to do this. Just try it and just see what works best for you, what feels right for you.
I had a client that suffered from severe depression, anxiety, and pain. And she came storming into because I gave her the 2-week coffee enema challenge, and she came storming into my office and she had her hands on her hips and she says, "You tell me how I can do a coffee enema and feel completely normal and not have any of those problems." There's other people that have gotten like a hair analysis and they had sinus infections and anxiety. I mean, their laundry list of symptoms were long. And so then you have to wait about a month, to get results and then, have the appointment with the client. And this guy, just by doing a coffee enema, 80% of his symptoms vanished. And then I'm telling him, when you start this detox program, baby steps, only take a few little supplements and work out. He goes, if I have any detox symptoms, I'll just do a coffee enema. It's just like people with migraines. One gal, was actually a nurse for 5 years. Always had a cough, always had a headache, a migraine, to the point where she couldn't even drive. She was vomiting. She had to stay at work until her husband came and got her. And so she got a hair analysis, copper toxic and everything. But I talked her into the 2-week coffee enema challenge. And she was so skeptical. But she came back in a week with giant smiles because for the first time in 5 years, she didn't have migraines. So then how she would talk about it is, I'll just do another coffee enema. When she felt something coming on, she'd even done one already that day. She would just do another coffee enema. And it's just can you imagine being that incapacitated, been to every doctor, tried all the medications, and here a simple coffee enema could give you your life back?
Yeah, that's why I am doing this liver rehab cleanse program, because if your liver is clogged, if it's congested, if it's fatty, if it's just incapacitated, overrun with toxins, your whole body is not going to work as well. You're going to be symptomatic and have problems, and all of the liver health issues that we kind of talk about on the live webinars and whatnot in this program. And so that's why you and I are such huge proponents. It's amazing the transformation you can have in your health and your energy and how you feel and reduction of symptoms when you just do a simple procedure like this to purge your liver, and your doctor isn't giving you any type of options like this whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of another person in their 70s. They couldn't even walk from their front step down to their mailbox because of severe pain. After doing 2 weeks of coffee enemas, they could go out to the mailbox and back without pain. I mean, if somebody asks me, Eileen, I'm only going to do one thing for my health and nothing else, what would it be? My answer would be a daily coffee enema. I mean, hands down, it just makes such a dramatic effect on the health of people for little to no money. You just, the bag, the bucket, the bottle. I mean, I have all of them because depending on whether I'm traveling in the motorhome or staying in a hotel or being at home, I have my go-to product just because of, how it makes me feel.
Yeah, and so I use a stainless steel bucket at home. It's easiest to clean, and I like it, but everyone has their own way that they like to do things, or their equipment that they like. But when I travel, I use the coffee enema bag, and it just rolls up, and just in case I need it, or sometimes you get constipated, or you get food poisoning, or you just feel like you need to do one for whatever reason, I have that choice available to me. And so if you guys want to get any of the coffee enema equipment here to get started, just go check out the How to Do a Coffee Enema PDF that was provided in your program, and you'll see all the links in the equipment section of that PDF to get them. And one other note that I wanted to talk about is when you're first starting to do these, it might be a good idea to do them in the bathtub just in case you do have an accident, because you really kind of have to get the hang of it and learn to really like clench your anus and hold it in. It just takes a second to get the hang of it. But even veterans can have accidents sometimes, and so every coffee enema is different. Sometimes you have accidents. I've only had a couple of accidents, but when people first start and they have an accident, it really kind of turns them off to it. But that happens. But just do it in the bathtub so you can clean it up really easy. But also, when you're doing a coffee enema, most of the time you feel really, really good afterwards. Sometimes you don't feel good. I mean, for the most part, I always feel like $1,000,000 after I do one. But again, every coffee enema is different. Sometimes you don't feel good afterwards. That's totally fine. That's going to happen sometimes. But also, after you do one, your blood sugar tends to drop, and people can feel a little bit woozy. Just make sure you eat something before or right after the coffee enema to just help with that drop in blood sugar. So do you have any tips that?
Well, if somebody doesn't feel good after a coffee enema, I usually tell them to take another coffee enema, a double back to back. And, somebody like you work with clients with hair analysis. So if you've got a high blood sugar ratio, calcium, magnesium, or you have a low one, have that snack ready to go, not so that you have to run and go get it. And then also lay down afterwards. Those would be, the tips.
Yes. Okay, great. Yeah. And also you want to clean your coffee enema equipment really good. I used different things. I'll put water and alcohol in my coffee enema bucket and then run that through the hose and wash the tip really good. I also have your ozone generator machine, and sometimes I'll run ozonated water through the coffee enema hose and tip. And it's amazing. It turns it white again. It's amazing how well it cleans it, and that kills off all the bacteria. And sometimes I run hydrogen peroxide through it, but you want to make sure you clean it. You don't want any fungus that can, if you don't dry the hose properly, it can grow a little fungus inside of it. You don't want that going in you the next time you do a coffee enema. Well, Eileen, thank you so much for joining us and giving us your insight and input on how to do a coffee enema. So thanks for joining us.
And yes, you can do it. Take care.
Yes, do the 2-week coffee enema challenge. We dare you.